Hello, my fellow mycologists. I'm assuming you have a basic working understanding of mushrooms and mushroom fruiting chambers, and if that's the case, skip to here. But I'm going to quickly give you guys a 30-second crash course in case you're new to this wonderful field and you just kind of want to understand what's going on. So, growing mushrooms is pretty simple, but there's a couple of core issues that you're constantly having to grapple with. When it comes to fruiting mushrooms, we have two things, right? Mushrooms need high humidity and fresh air. And generally, the way we do this is we put the mushrooms in a plastic bin and then we spray the bin with water and kind of let that water dissolve and humidify, and that's it. The only issue is, A, that's really freaking annoying, right? I don't want to have to walk up to my box and water my box 5 times a day. I might as well just have a child at that point. It's just too much work, right? And the other issue is, since we're putting it in a box to maintain humidity, right, then there's no water, there's no air exchange, right? Think about, remember, you ever buy, for Christmas, you buy a puppy and you didn't poke holes in the box so the puppy just kind of dies? Well, that can kind of happen to your mushrooms too, right? You need a lot of gas exchange to get a lot of mushrooms. And the way you do that normally is you just take the lid of the tub and you fan it. But again, that's annoying and I don't want to move my arms like this. I mean, look, this looks stupid. This is demeaning. So I've kind of found a couple of ways to get around these different issues and basically have created what I have termed the set it and forget it mushroom fruiting chamber paradigm. Essentially, if you follow these steps and kind of take what you like, leave what you don't, you should be able to just fruit mushrooms a lot easier. And even if you follow it to a T, you can set these mushrooms up, forget about them, come back in 2, 3, 4 weeks, and next thing you know, you're just going to have mushrooms ready for harvest. It's essentially automated, which is great as I am interning in a company doing strategic automation this summer. Swagged out. And this one I have seen by other mycologists in the field is the beta zooer. I'm going to be honest, if you consider yourself a mushroom grower, I feel like this is an absolute necessity. Like, even if you're a hobbyist and not an enthusiast, this is the first piece of technology that I would definitely invest in. Basically what happens if you use this and hook it up to that ink bird, we have the ability to regulate humidity. And the beta zooer is actually a reptifogger, right? It's normally for reptiles to maintain humidity in enclosures. And that's really nice because if we set this up right, we can know that we're at 97.7% humidity and just maintain that, right? We have so much more control, and I also have so much more ease of mind, right? I know if I'm out at the store, if I forget to water, I can just sleep, right? I know that no matter what, my mushrooms are going to be in the right humidity, and that's just so important. All right, the next big innovation I want to talk about, and you should have seen this coming if you've seen the hit film The Graduate. In that film, he says, what should you invest in? Get interested in plastics. The next thing I'm focusing on is a plastic. To be exact, a little bit more nuanced, it's a film. To be completely clear now, it is called parafilm. And parafilm is actually generally used in labs. I've only seen it when working with cell cultures. But let's kind of dive into what parafilm is. The first thing I want to show off, it comes in this nice, very hard to open system where you kind of have to scrunch it a little bit because it can get stuck. But once you get it open, so if you look here, parafilm, here's its first amazing quality. Look at its size, pretty small, right? Pretty small guy here. It grows kind of like an erection almost. You know what I mean? You're able to stretch it out to like over twice its size. It's kind of an amazing compound. But then going on with the penis analogy, I want to dig deeper into the other thing that makes parafilm so useful for our project specifically. I'm actually going to use an allegory to help you understand this. Think of those weird nitrile condoms, right? Have you ever seen those ads? Those condoms, their holes are small enough that sperm can't fit through, and they are an effective means of birth control. You can't get pregnant while wearing them. On the other hand, though, those holes, they're not actually, they're still little tiny holes in a nitrile condom, right? And those little tiny holes, something like HIV or super gonorrhea could get through, and you could get really sick. So that same idea actually transfers over to here. except instead of HIV in babies, it's water and CO2 and oxygen. What I mean by this is this membrane is semi-permeable. So its holes are small enough that water can't escape through, right? This is going to lock in our humidity, which we know is super important. On the other hand, though, these holes are big enough that CO2 and oxygen can travel through the parafilm, which allows us to get clean air exchange and ultimately to thrive. Now this innovation, and I have seen other people do this, but you know, I'd never done this myself and it was something I wanted to do, and I hadn't seen people do this in this exact way, is I've basically set up Frankenstein's monster over here. And yeah, the basic way that this works is the Arduino controls these CPU fans so that they run for about 3 minutes every 3 hours. And the good thing about this is I managed to get a big burst of gas exchange every 3 hours, but then for the rest of the time as the fan is off and the humidity levels are able to build and induce pinning. So let me just demonstrate that right here. If I hit reset on this, boom, the fan goes and it runs pretty quickly. So, and I feel like it's ridiculous that I have to point this out, but whatever you do, do not stick your finger through that hole right here because you'll really hurt yourself because these fans are actually a lot more powerful than you think. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is, at least I don't know if other people are having this issue, and if you found a better solution to this, please drop your info in the comments. I'd love to know. This is really making me look bad, making me look real ratchet. Is that because I kind of struggle to maintain insane levels of humidity, right? I like to sit at like 98% humidity. I wind up having to run the rectifogger a good bit, and that leads to condensation forming and ultimately water pooling within the fruiting chamber itself. And the way that I've gotten around that is I've drilled holes in the fruiting chamber and just basically allow water to drain into these solo cups. And I'm actually a huge fan of the solo cup method. It collects the water really well. And then you also get this just beautiful brown, it has like a mushroomy, it has like an almost mushroomy scent. And I feel like that's just really amazing. I've actually been trying to use this mushroom water for a prank. Unfortunately, you know the prank I'm thinking of. It's the hand someone a cup of beer. It's actually mushroom water prank. Unfortunately, I have not been able to pull that off this semester because last semester I got really into the try this beer, not actually urine prank. So now all my friends are very hesitant about trying drinks that I hand them and claim to be beer. So I'm really waiting until next semester when my present friends graduate and I have to make new ones that I can drink my mushroom water / piss again. So yeah, if you want to see those prank videos, please subscribe because I will be airing all of my thinking you're drinking beer, but it's actually a different liquid videos on my second channel. Yeah, so thank you for the continued support. You guys are my reason for living, my reason for doing, my reason for making art. Swag out. See you guys next year.